Day 5 of the 100 Days 100 Books Challenge marks the beginning of a life-changing journey that will empower you to grow and transform in various aspects of your life. This includes your mindset, finances, discipline, career, relationships, startups, psychology, productivity, communication skills, and marketing. Nudge by Richard H. Thaler and Cass R. Sunstein. Improving decisions about health, wealth, and happiness. While many individuals possess a clear understanding of what actions are beneficial for their well-being, such as maintaining a healthy diet, saving for retirement, and avoiding smoking, they often struggle to enact these intentions in their daily lives. Instead, they tend to engage in behaviors that contradict their better judgment, such as indulging in unhealthy eating habits, being imprudent with finances, and consuming excessive amounts of tobacco. These patterns of unwise behavior manifest across various aspects of life, encompassing dietary choices, financial investments, and time management practices. Despite knowing the benefits of opting for nutritious snacks over sugary treats or waking up promptly in the morning, individuals frequently succumb to the allure of immediate gratification. Such behavioral tendencies pose significant challenges when impulsive decisions lead to detrimental long-term consequences. For instance, despite the awareness of the importance of saving money, many individuals in the United States persist in inadequate saving habits, leaving themselves vulnerable to financial hardship in emergencies or during retirement. When unforeseen circumstances such as illness or job loss arise, or unexpected expenses emerge, individuals often regret their past irrational decisions. Yet, despite this realization, they continue to prioritize short-term gains over long-term financial security. In essence, individuals frequently fail to prioritize decisions that would yield the most favorable outcomes in the long run, highlighting the pervasive influence of short-term impulses on decision-making processes. Number 1. Many times, our decisions are marred by either insufficient or overly intricate information. Why do we often find ourselves making choices that aren't truly in our best interest? Often it boils down to having either too little or too much information, or an inability to foresee the consequences of our actions. It's only when we possess and can effectively process the appropriate amount of information that we're equipped to make rational decisions. Consider the scenario of selecting an ice cream flavor at an ice cream parlor. Typically, we make this decision swiftly. We assess the available flavors and draw upon past experiences to conclude that, for instance, strawberry ice cream is preferable to mango. Here, we have all the requisite information at hand and can process it promptly. However, the dynamic shifts in more consequential situations, such as when determining whether to obtain a loan. With various types of loans, like purchases on credit, deferments, consumer loans, securities, preliminary financing, and interim financing, each with distinct features like fixed or variable interest rates and differing additional costs, the complexity escalates. Moreover, this information isn't always presented transparently. It's often buried in the fine print of colorful advertisements. Essentially, even when we're furnished with all pertinent information, the task of organizing and objectively comparing services can prove daunting. Such scenarios can leave us feeling utterly overwhelmed. Number 2. Human behavior is largely guided by instinctual reactions. When we encounter a giggling baby, our natural response is to smile. This reaction happens instinctively, without conscious deliberation. However, when faced with a mathematical problem like 347 multiplied by 12, we approach it consciously because it demands effort and time to arrive at a solution. These instances illustrate two distinct cognitive systems. 1. For the baby scenario, we rely on our automatic system, which operates on gut instincts. 2. For the mathematical problem, we engage our rational or reflective system. In the hustle of everyday life, We lack the luxury of pondering every single action, hence we often default to our automatic system to govern our behavior. While this system functions effectively in many cases, it's not foolproof. Built upon simplifications, the automatic system is often bolstered by a frail framework of spontaneous emotions and subjective experiences. For instance, when estimating our own risk of experiencing a stroke, our initial thoughts gravitate towards the number of people we know who've had one. If we're unaware of anyone who has suffered a stroke, we instinctively assume a low personal risk. Consequently, even if our actual risk is high, we may fail to take necessary precautions. In essence, our gut instinct initially leads to misjudgment and subsequently influences unwise decisions. Number 3. At times, our decisions falter due to succumbing to temptation or acting impulsively. Consider the scenario of offering a cigarette to someone attempting to quit smoking. Despite their desire to quit and awareness of its harmful effects, they may find it challenging to resist the temptation and end up indulging. This inclination towards unwise choices stems from a lack of willpower. Despite their intentions, the allure of temptation proves overwhelming, often leading to hasty decisions. Similarly, instances of thoughtlessness manifest in various situations. Studies reveal that larger portion sizes prompt increased consumption, even if the taste isn't particularly appealing. For instance, in an experiment conducted at a movie theater, participants were given bags of stale popcorn before entering, with half receiving small bags and the other half medium-sized ones. Despite acknowledging the unpalatability of the stale popcorn, participants consumed significant amounts of it, with those given larger bags consuming even more. Number 4. Certain businesses capitalize on human tendencies to make less than ideal decisions. For companies to thrive, they must market products and generate profits, which necessitates catering to their customers' needs. However, for some companies, whether their actions have positive or negative repercussions for customers is immaterial. Their primary concern lies in driving sales. At times, companies not only fulfill existing customer needs but also cultivate new ones. They leverage the human propensity to succumb to temptation and overlook consequences when making impulsive decisions. Exploiting this insight, companies entice customers to purchase more than originally intended, exemplified by the prevalence of double XL size portions over standard ones, leading to overconsumption for many individuals. Moreover, businesses exploit human vulnerabilities through tactics like trial subscriptions to periodicals. Customers may initially receive a free trial period, but if they fail to cancel within the specified time frame, the subscription is automatically renewed, resulting in continued receipt of the periodical and subsequent charges. Number 5. Nudges entail subtle alterations in our surroundings aimed at steering us away from poor decisions. How do we safeguard ourselves from making erroneous choices? Through nudges, which offer gentle guidance towards the right course of action. Nudges don't entail prohibitions or cunning advertising ploys. Rather, they comprise subtle interventions that facilitate our inclination towards the most beneficial option without prescribing a specific behavior. Essentially, nudges afford us autonomy while simplifying the selection of the optimal choice. For instance, arranging fruits conspicuously and relegating junk food to less prominent positions in a cafeteria constitutes a nudge. Although we retain the freedom to choose between an apple and a candy bar, the arrangement encourages opting for the healthier apple. Certainly, nudges can also be employed for less noble purposes, such as by companies seeking to influence consumer purchasing decisions. Companies have long utilized nudges. For instance, supermarket shelves typically position the most expensive items at eye level. However, the scenario of prominently displaying fruits in cafeterias illustrates how nudges can also promote healthier and superior alternatives. Number 6. Defaults serve as highly effective nudges, prompting individuals to instinctively opt for the most advantageous choice. Given that we don't deliberate extensively with every decision, The design of decision-making scenarios should prioritize outcomes aligned with automatic responses yielding positive results. A prime example of this is Gmail's attachment reminder feature. If an email contains phrases like "please find attached" without an accompanying file, the email platform automatically detects this and prompts the user with a question like, "Did you intend to attach a file?" This subtle nudge can save users considerable time and inconvenience. Similarly, companies could implement comparable systems to guide employees towards prudent decisions, such as enrolling in company pension schemes. Recognizing that most individuals tend towards inertia and are hesitant to deviate from the status quo, making enrollment in a company pension scheme optional is not ideal. Instead, it would be more beneficial to configure the program to automatically enroll all employees in the scheme, requiring them to actively opt out if they choose not to participate. By selecting defaults that ensure employees make the right choice even in the absence of action, companies can foster beneficial outcomes. Number 7. Nudges prove most valuable in situations characterized by an abundance of choices, or when future outcomes are at stake. Optimal utilization of nudges occurs in scenarios where decision-making presents considerable challenges. Frequently, erroneous decisions arise when immediate gratification outweighs delayed repercussions. Indulging in an extra slice of cake or enjoying an evening cocktail may offer immediate pleasure, yet the adverse effects are only felt later, such as when stepping on the scale at month's end or waking up with a headache the next morning. Another contributor to poor decision-making is the absence of past experiences to draw upon. For instance, selecting an insurance provider is a decision made infrequently, often only once or twice in a lifetime. Without prior experiences to inform this choice, individuals may struggle to assess which insurance company would best suit their needs. Moreover, even after settling on an insurance provider, the decision-making process continues when choosing a specific policy. In such cases, if an insurance company offers an array of policies and some customers, particularly those lacking expertise in insurance matters, encounter difficulty in selecting the most suitable policy, the company could offer a recommended default policy. For instance, a policy covering over 80% of an individual's medical expenses could be suggested, aiding less knowledgeable customers in choosing comprehensive coverage for common medical issues. Number 8. Many individuals utilize nudges to reach their objectives. As each year draws to a close, numerous individuals find themselves reflecting on yet another failure to adhere to their New Year's resolutions. The scale displays a higher number than the previous year, and the ashtray remains untouched. However, there are those who succeed. How do they manage it? Typically, individuals who effectively maintain their resolutions do so by employing nudges to steer clear of detrimental decisions throughout the year. They engage in friendly wagers, participate in public weigh-ins, or utilize tailored internet programs to monitor their progress and stay focused. For instance, Stick.com boasts over 100,000 individuals who have committed to achieving their goals through so-called commitment contracts. Upon registering on the website, users declare their objectives, establish milestones with specific deadlines, and have the option to wager money on their success. If the goal is achieved, the money is refunded. Otherwise, it is allocated to a predetermined institution or individual. For instance, the rival team of one's favorite football team can be a particularly motivating recipient. This successful website exemplifies how nudges can be effectively utilized to alter behavior and realize aspirations. Number 9. Governments and other institutions should employ nudges to promote wise decision-making. Nudges serve to encourage individuals to make better choices, often benefiting society as a whole. When the majority of citizens make prudent decisions, the entire society reaps rewards. For instance, reduced smoking rates and obesity levels lead to decreased healthcare costs, benefiting everyone. Although nudges may incur initial costs, the long-term benefits typically outweigh them swiftly. In the realm of environmental conservation, simply mandating the public disclosure of carbon emissions has the potential to alter behavior. This requirement doesn't explicitly prohibit companies from surpassing pollutant emission limits. Instead, it acts as a nudge by incentivizing voluntary emission reduction efforts, particularly since environmentalists frequently utilize such data to publicly criticize polluters. This reporting obligation fosters a competitive environment for emission reduction, all without resorting to legal coercion. Similarly, programs like the $1 a Day initiative demonstrate how nudges can effectively mitigate unwanted teenage pregnancies. In several U.S. cities, teenage mothers are compensated $1 for each day they avoid pregnancy. This approach proves to be more cost-effective for taxpayers compared to supporting the children of young mothers. Furthermore, companies employ nudges to prevent customer errors. For instance, cars emit a warning beep until passengers fasten their seatbelts, and a blinking light alerts drivers when the gas tank is nearly empty. These mechanisms don't compel individuals to act, but they effectively prevent oversight and promote safety. Final summary and key message. This book underscores the prevalence of unwise decisions among people, but it emphasizes that even minor adjustments, known as nudges, can incentivize individuals to make better choices. Therefore, it advocates for the widespread adoption of nudges by both countries and private institutions. Questions addressed in this book. 1. How and why do we make erroneous decisions? Our decisions don't always align with our long-term interests. Many times, our decisions are influenced by inadequate or overly complex information. Human behavior is predominantly driven by instinctual reactions. Temptation and impulsive actions often lead to faulty decision-making. Some companies exploit human tendencies towards poor decisions. 2. How can nudges aid in addressing this problem? Nudges are subtle modifications in context that assist in avoiding bad decisions. Defaults serve as highly effective nudges, guiding individuals towards beneficial actions automatically. Nudges prove most beneficial when faced with an abundance of choices or when future outcomes are at stake. 3. How can individuals utilize nudges? Many individuals utilize nudges to accomplish their objectives. Governments and other institutions should employ nudges to promote wise decision-making. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.